Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely flip the script on how you think about building wealth and securing your future. We're unpacking a massive, paradigm-shifting concept that really challenges everything we've been taught about what it actually takes to be successful. The core premise we're exploring today is pretty simple, but it is incredibly profound. Time, not money, is your ultimate asset. If you think you need some massive bank account to start building your future, well, you're absolutely going to want to pay close attention to this.
Section 1. A Tale of Two Friends. Okay, let's dive into this. Picture a super relatable scenario. We've got two friends, both exactly 25 years old, and they are earning the exact same salary. They're both smart, ambitious, and hardworking. On paper, their starting lines are absolutely identical. But their futures are about to split in a massive way based on just one single choice. Here's what happens. Friend A decides to start investing a small amount every single month. It's nothing flashy, just a quiet, consistent habit. Friend B, on the other hand, looks at his paycheck and decides to wait. He tells himself, you know what, I'll start when I'm making a bit more money. And honestly, that seems like a totally logical, harmless decision, right? But fast forward 10 years, and this one simple choice has created a financial gap so gigantic that it might literally never be closed. And here's the crazy part. Friend B didn't make some terrible investment. He didn't blow all his money on crypto. He didn't gamble his savings away. He didn't even go into crazy debt. He made zero catastrophic errors. He just waited.
Section 2. The Most Expensive Mistake.
That brings us to a really fascinating realization about the pitfalls of our early adult years. We need to talk about the most expensive mistake you can possibly make, because I guarantee it's probably not what you think. If you ask most people to name the biggest financial mistakes you can make in your 20s, they'll rattle off the classics, right? Buying expensive cars you definitely don't need, putting lavish vacations on a credit card, or that tired old cliche of spending way too much on your morning coffee. Now, don't get me wrong. These missteps are for sure expensive, but we're about to totally subvert those expectations. While those things will absolutely drain your wallet, they are not the absolute worst things you can do to your financial foundation.
The actual most expensive mistake, the one that is quietly ruining millions of financial futures every single day, is simply delaying. It's waiting to invest in yourself and your future. Quietly putting things off until tomorrow or until you earn more is a massive trap. In the world of finance and personal growth, time is often infinitely more valuable than capital.
So, the crucial point is captured perfectly in this quote. Money can be replaced, time cannot. Just let that linger for a second. Really think about it. If someone were to hand you $10,000 today, you could make a bad bet, lose every single penny of it, and eventually, you could earn it all back. The market is always going to give you another opportunity to make money. But if someone takes 10 years away from your financial journey, there is absolutely no way to recover those years. Life simply won't give you another age 25. A lost decade is gone forever.
Section 3. The Power of Compounding.
To understand exactly why a lost decade is so utterly devastating, we have to look at the foundational mechanic working behind the scenes here. This is the engine that makes time way more valuable than a huge starting bank account. It's called compound growth. Compound growth is hands down one of the most powerful forces in finance. Most people operate under this illusion that becoming wealthy means you have to start with a huge pile of cash. You don't. What it actually requires is time. A person who starts investing just a little bit of money early on will routinely beat a person who invests a much larger chunk of money later in life. And it's not because the early starter is a genius, and it's not because they work twice as hard. It's simply because they gave their money a longer runway. They just gave it more time to work and multiply.
And this brilliantly illustrates a concept that goes way beyond just your bank account. Compound growth doesn't only apply to money. Just look at this list. Skills compound, knowledge compounds, your relationships, your reputation, your network, your physical health, they all compound. The person who starts learning valuable skills at 22 has an enormous, almost unfair advantage over someone who waits until 35 to start. The person who reads consistently for 10 straight years physically becomes a totally different person than the one who keeps promising to start someday. Building your network early opens doors to opportunities that all the money in the world simply can't buy later on. Your 20s aren't just for earning a paycheck. They're for building these exact assets that will literally keep paying dividends for decades.
Section 4. The Lifestyle Inflation Trap.
But while time is busy doing its thing, there's a secondary silent killer of financial futures that we absolutely have to talk about. It's a trap that frequently catches even the highest earners out there: lifestyle inflation. You've probably seen this happen to friends, or hey, maybe you've even experienced it yourself. It's such a relatable cycle. You get a well-deserved raise at work, awesome. But then, you immediately upgrade to a fancier apartment. Then you buy a flashier car. You systematically upgrade your lifestyle every single time your paycheck grows. And before you know it, you're earning more money than you ever have in your entire life, and you are still living paycheck to paycheck.
Now, here is the real truth about wealth creation. A lot of high earners are incredibly stressed about money. And it's not because they earn too little. It's because their expenses are rising in lockstep with their income. True wealth is never built just by chasing a higher salary. It's built by actively widening the gap between what you earn and what you spend. It's all about increasing that gap, not just your income alone.
Section 5. Your most valuable asset. This brings us to the real climax of this explainer. It's time to shatter a very comfortable little illusion. This widespread belief that you have plenty of time to figure all this out later. A lot of people in their 20s think financial planning is just some boring chore meant for their 30s or 40s. But listen, the decisions you make in your 20s strictly dictate the options you're going to have available in your 40s. The habits you're building right now, they become your permanent financial identity. Success rarely arrives suddenly. It compounds quietly in the background. People love to ask successful individuals, "Wow, how did you become successful so quickly?" What they don't see is the 10 years of quiet, unglamorous compounding that came right before that moment. The books read in year 1, the discipline practiced and the mistakes survived in year 5. It literally takes a decade of preparation for success to suddenly appear overnight. Saving, investing, discipline, they only become easy when you've spent years actually practicing them.
Let's move to and see how this builds into an actionable game plan for you. The truth is simple. The most expensive mistake isn't losing money, it's losing time. So, if you're in your early years, don't just focus on making cash. Focus on becoming a more valuable person. Step 1, invest in your skills. Step 2, invest in your health. Step 3, invest in your relationships and your network. And step 4, the most critical one of all, invest early. Start today. Seriously, do not wait for a promotion. Do not wait for next year. Do not wait until you magically feel ready. The choice between a secure future and a struggling one is being made right now, today. Because one day, your future self is going to look back and either thank you endlessly for starting today or desperately wish you had.
I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought to chew on. If you could step into a time machine right now and give your 20-year-old self just one single financial lesson, what would it be? Think about your own experiences, the mistakes you've made along the way, and the compounding you might have missed out on. Drop your advice in the comments below. Your hard-earned lesson might just be the exact thing someone else watching needs to see to avoid making the most expensive financial mistake of their life. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.